Good morning. I like to start off this video by saying that I know the audio is probably a bit low. Recently I had an accident with my laptop involving coffee, and this audio input-output jack has been a bit jacked up. I know that there are people that will be having trouble hearing me. I'm sorry, but please don't give me any grief about it. I'm aware of the problem. It's just not something that I can help right now, because that would involve purchasing a Bluetooth microphone or a new laptop. It is what it is. I also would like to preface the video by saying that I have no interest in debating whether or not I saw what I saw, or that these things don't exist. You are entirely entitled to your beliefs, and believe what you will about this video as well. I'm not going to ban you or block you if you leave comments disagreeing with me. It's fine. But I'm just also not going to debate you. Yesterday, to the story then. Yesterday we went to the grocery store, and we always stop at the gas station. The same gas station. It's not on a major road. It is on one of the most traveled roads around here, but it's not like you will encounter traffic jams or traffic blocks there. That is how remote we are. All rural people basically going to their field or back. And while these people generally may be a bit rough around the edges, they're never downright nasty unless they have a personal problem with you. But then they also won't go out of their way to start problems with you. Most people that have a problem with each other will just stay out of each other's way, in my experience around here. Now, yesterday we had our coffee, we had our croissants, and I was sitting a bit back on the bench with my son, and my man was off paying the bill. And he's there, I'm here, and people that come in have to walk in between us. And a big burly guy walks in, and he immediately starts doing to my son, who very much likes these kinds of interactions with people. So that's always cute. But immediately after that guy, 3 women walk in. And not the type of women that you would look at them and think, oh, senior citizens. But they were also above middle age. You know, they were actually very well groomed. And their faces, their ages, was a bit ambiguous. And I noticed that all 3 of them, as they walked in, looked at me. And when I looked back at them, they immediately looked away. And there was a very nasty energy about these women. You can just sense that about certain people, that they think a certain way about you when they see you, or that they are in general just unpleasant people to be around. And that is the vibe I got. And throughout this whole day before, I had this churning in my stomach, this feeling of something nasty is going to happen, or it wouldn't surprise me if something nasty happens today. And it wasn't direct, I have to say, because they avoided eye contact with me. Because when people walk in and they give me a certain look, I'm rather combative and confrontational, so I will absolutely keep eye contact with a person like that. And they avoided that. But they were looking at me from the corner of their eyes. You know, that a person is aware that they're being looked at. That was them. I wasn't giving them any particularly nasty energy back. I just looked back at them like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here. So, yeah, they avoided that. But after my man paid the coffee, we went back to the car, and I we always turn back because there's a big glass window, and my son always wants to wave through the window to the cashier because he knows her by now. And I saw one of them staring at the glass, but she was standing right at the glass. You have this glass window here, and you have a wall here, and you can see part of the bar, the coffee bar there, and the people standing at the coffee bar, but she was standing at the window facing me, staring. You always know when people are looking at you, but she wasn't even that far that you had to guess. I knew she was looking at me. It was obvious. Go put my son in his car seat, and then I go to the front, and I see her still watching me, and I swear her eyes were black. Black. I don't mean this whole part here where your eye sockets are in your skull. No, just the eyes, all black. The sun was right behind us, so right in the face of that woman behind the glass, one of those three. So it's very unlikely that it was shadowed, you know. And that moment I had this knowing that I was not looking at a woman, but an entity, a demon, for lack of a better word. And I did something in that moment, this instinctive reaction. I did this. You know, the reflecting of the evil eye and the horning the energy, the entity, into the ground, away from you. Apotropaic magic. Now, a normal person would have seen me do that and probably kept staring at me, because that's what you do when you see some woman, foreign-looking woman, do something odd. You stare. That's what we do as people. It's what I would have done. I definitely stared at somebody like that, because that's usually amusing, but not her. No, she saw me do that, and immediately she took a step back and went away out of sight. That confirmed it for me, that I was absolutely looking at a demon, an entity-possessed person. Now, was it actually a person, or was it a temporary manifestation of a demon, an entity? I don't know. We can debate that. Maybe in another video, maybe. It's not really important for this video. But that thing knew what I was doing, and that's why it looked away so fast. Because that's their greatest, one of their greatest weaknesses, is recognition. Once you know they're there, they become more vulnerable. Because you, do they become more vulnerable in a way, but also you as a person are better able to protect yourself? So it knows. Exposure is one of their weaknesses, a great weakness to them. This comes back in all possession cases or infestations, that once you know it's there, it becomes more vulnerable to your countermeasures. And once you see these things, or you have taught yourself how to recognize them, or seen them a couple of times by accident, sometimes you just walk on the street and all of a sudden you see this person that you're certain is not actually a person, or the way they're behaving, the way they're looking or interacting with their environment is so bizarre and out of this world. And they don't even need to be very flamboyant or loud about it. It's just something that makes you go, huh, that is really weird. That person is really bizarre. And once you've seen it a couple of times and you started to recognize it, you can never not recognize it anymore. It becomes so obvious. They become so obvious. You see it a lot in the woke people, the woke protesters. Sometimes you see, I don't know, that I have posted this picture on Facebook, I'm sure, about this woman with the pink hair, with the t-shirt, a blue t-shirt, trans kids, and you can see the demon in her face in the snapshots. It's really shocking and bizarre. Just bizarre, but you can see the manifestation of the entity there, how angry and nasty and vile it is. They can't hide it. Now, like I said, you feel free to disagree with me, like, no, Tina, these things don't exist. Maybe you just saw them in a very bad mood. Maybe you just misinterpreted everything. You are entirely entitled to your own beliefs. But I was there. I saw the black eyes on that woman. With my own eyes. I am not going to debate you. I'm not going to block you for disagreeing with me, but I have no interest in debating the veracity of this because of my own experiences, what I've witnessed with my own eyes. And that is really all. If you have any anecdotes of your own, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And I know some of you have, because afterwards I was talking to friends online about what I had just experienced and witnessed. And yeah, they said the same thing, like, oh, I've been seeing them too, way more often. So I'm curious, is it a sign of the time of the Kali Yuga? That they're just more out and about? Are they not trying to hide anymore? Because this creature wasn't really trying to hide what it was. But on the other hand, when it knew I knew, it went away. I don't really know why. I can guess. But what good would it do? It was just one of those things that left a real impression on me. And it wasn't shocking to see them because, I mean, I have seen them before in uncommon places, but it's where they chose to see. I don't think they were there for me, but it was so out of the way. To see them there was bizarre and unexpected. I'll say that. You'd expect them in major cities, more traveled roads, because there's more food there. The neurological, emotional output of people is their food. You'd expect them to be where the people are plenty and where they're feeling a lot of negative things, which is usually in a city, a big city. So yeah, your guess is as good as mine why they were there. I don't think they were there for me. I don't think they expected to see me there, or someone like me, someone who can recognize them. But yeah, this also, the rune reading that I did for Fiona's forecast of 2024 comes to mind as well, because in my own rune reading, I spoke about entities is going to be a big deal this year. And then I encounter it myself on one of the most unexpected places. So yeah, leave your own stories and anecdotes in the comments if you wish. I'd be happy to hear them and read them. But yeah, I'm not going to debate you on whether I really saw what I saw or whether these things exist or not. But I do thank you for listening to my story.